cut to the chase. I'm here because of the New York Yankees.
Cooperstown, population 1,833. This sleepy little town in upstate New York is home to the National Baseball Hall of Fame and plays host annually to one of baseball's biggest events. Each year, the sport's most time-honored names, along with thousands of its dedicated fans, descend upon this tiny pocket of our country to celebrate the Hall's newest elected members. In 2014, 6 new names were enshrined into professional sports' most exclusive club. Atlanta fans were plentiful, as 3 of its heroes were immortalized. Manager Bobby Cox, along with 2 of his pitchers, Greg Maddux and Tom Glavine, were given the sport's top honor. Slugger Frank Thomas and longtime Cardinals manager Tony La Russa also had their moment to shine. Finally, the highlight of the day arrived for Yankees fans as Joe Torre became the 7th former Yankees manager to be elected into the Hall of Fame.
I'm here, might as well cut to the chase. I'm here because of the New York Yankees. Got a call from Gene Michael, Stick Michael, stepping down as general manager of the New York Yankees, and he was interviewing me to become general manager. Offered me the job. Allie was pregnant with our daughter Andrea, and I said, "Is there vacation time?" And they said, "No, not working for George." So I said, "Thank you, but maybe next time." Then I get a call from a dear friend, Arthur Richmond, about a month or so later, to say, "Do you want to go on the short list of managers that's going to replace Buck Showalter?" I said, "You bet." And then the call came from George Steinbrenner, says, "You're my man." Well, I know George's history, and I know my brother Frank says, "You're crazy," but I knew if I was ever going to find out if I could do this stuff, this was going to be my best opportunity. It's been a wonderful ride. We've had great players, but great people. You know, Hideki Matsui comes on board, and he's hit 50 home runs a year, every year in Japan. First thing Zimmer asked me, ask him if he can hit and run. So through an interpreter, I did that. And he says, "Anytime you want." That's the unselfishness that we've had. And by the way, keep a couple of seats warm for the couple of these guys coming in here in the next few years. Yogi Berra told me when we won our first pennant, and I was going to be in my first World Series, he said, "Hey, kid," he says, "when you get introduced and go to that first baseline, it's going to be unlike any other feeling you've ever had." He was right. It was pretty amazing. Don Zimmer, you know, aside from costing me a lot of money by introducing me to horse racing, 8 years sitting next to me, he made me the manager that I turned into. He had more guts than I did and sort of got me off the conservative platform. And I know he's watching us from a racetrack in the sky somewhere. And I know his spirit is in my heart. The fans, unbelievable. And I've been around, you know, all through the country. The fans have been great to me. But the fans in New York, I want to tell you, you have turned New York City into a small town for me. Thank you very much. Baseball is a game of life. It's not perfect, but it feels like it is. That's the magic of it. We are responsible for giving it the respect it deserves. Our sport is part of the American soul, and it's ours to borrow, just for a while. To take care of it for a time and then pass it on to the next generation. When I say us, I mean as managers, as players. If all of us who love baseball are doing our jobs, then those who get the game from us will be as proud to be a part of it as we were, and we are. This game is a gift, and I am humbled, very humbled, to accept its greatest honor. Thank you very much.
After Torre's moving speech recounting some of his greatest accomplishments, he had a chance to thank the Steinbrenner family for taking a chance on him back in 1996.
They made my whole professional life. I mean, I had a pretty good playing career and all that, but the managing the Yankees was was really what you set out in baseball to do, is to get to the World Series, and to have the opportunity to do that with George so many times was an incredible feeling.
I think it's incredible for him to be here in the Hall. It certainly makes a statement about his legacy and the legacy of the Yankees, to have another manager in the Hall. As a friend once said to me, he said, this really isn't the Yankee Hall of Fame, but for us, it is the Yankee Hall of Fame.
What he did in Major League Baseball, a kid from the Marine Park section of Brooklyn. He went to St. Francis Prep High School, always a gentleman, and he made Brooklyn proud. And then he became manager of my favorite team, the New York Yankees, so very proud of him.
As a guy from Brooklyn and a guy who grew up in Brooklyn, and as a father and grandparent, as he is a father and grandparent, if I could emulate his life, not be manager of the Yankees, but emulate his lifestyle, that family comes first and means the most, I'll take that.
Well, if you think about Joe's leadership skills, you think about his ability to manage across the leagues. That quiet professional who sat in that dugout, sitting next to his bench coach and making the right decisions at the right time. He was just a great manager, and it was good to see that.
I have fond memories watching the game with my mom, Connie, who really enjoyed Joe Torre's presence at the Yankee games, really pulled her into the game. And every time she saw him, she would say, "Oh, there's Joe Torres." And we'd have to, "No, Mom, it's Joe Torre." So just memories like that, and just basically loving the Yankees is what brought us here.
As a Brooklyn-born guy, you couldn't ask for more. He's, a true leader, a gentleman, and he deserves it after a lifetime in the game.
Joe Torre has dedicated his entire life to the game of baseball. In a playing and managing career that spanned 5 decades, his relentless work ethic as a player and calm leadership as a manager made him an obvious addition to Cooperstown's hallowed halls.